An open letter to President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. By Ethiopian Survival and Salvation Association, ESSA. July 3, 2021. Requesting to help us call National Peace and Reconciliation Dialogue to remove and replace the Ethnic Federalism Constitution of Ethiopia by making national referendum for a new constitution in Ethiopia before performing oath of office of the Prime Minister. Dear President Biden and Vice President Harris, we, the undersigned members of the Ethiopian American community and friends of Ethiopia living in different states of America and beyond, came together under the umbrella of Ethiopian Survival and Salvation Association, ESSA, submitting this open letter to express our grave concern on the recent election held in Ethiopia that, based on the government law which is known as the Unusual Constitution in the UN Archive, that was created to destroy Ethiopia by anti-Ethiopia secession groups or factions like EPLF, TPLF, and Oromo Liberation Front. These factions are all separatist and intentionally introduced Article 39 to enslave Ethiopians and then to fragment Ethiopia. Article 39, number 1 states that every nation, nationality, and people in Ethiopia has an unconditional right to self-determination, including the right to secession. Thus, the election for Ethiopia based on such anti-Ethiopian law will defeat its purpose. That is why the election shall not serve Ethiopia's interest. This election has failed all pivotal requirements of a standard election process. Peace, security, and stability is the most important one. Some regions like Tigray, Somali, Harar, most Benshangul, some Oromia regions do not have elections. Most places have no option, as the sitting government is the only one for the people casting their vote, no choice. The sitting government started to officially nominating and assigning to power different individuals before the election result announced by the election board. The government started to arrest, kill, hunt strong opposition party members, continued hiding what is happening against humanity in Ethiopia. In Ethiopia, many innocent civilians are slaughtered in different parts of Ethiopia, especially in Oromia and Benshangul regions. Innocent citizens are killed in the city center in the face of their families without due process in Welega. 3 cities, Shashamane, Adayi, Karakore, have been burned down to ashes. Since July 2018, about 30 churches have been attacked, mainly in eastern and southern Ethiopia, with more than half of them burned to the ground, according to the Amhara Professionals Union, APU, a United States-based diaspora organization that has attempted to track events. We also learned such crime of slaughtering of active members of the community in their own taxi in the Ethiopian capital city Addis Ababa, and no one is held accountable to date. The Tigray conflict is escalated to a full-blown war between Ethiopian military and TPLF once the Ethiopian military in the Northern Command was attacked by TPLF, where the military is defending the people TPLF administering, who are Ethiopians. Man-made hunger is brewing at different part of Ethiopia, Tigray, Oromia, South Wello, etc., due to poor handling and lack of concern to displaced citizens by regional governments including TPLF, prosperity parties of Amhara, Oromia and southern regions. The war crime committed in Tigray should have been avoided if both TPLF and the Ethiopian government have concern to the people they are leading and administering. This week on Monday, the Ethiopian government left Mekelle and a huge part of Tigray irresponsibly. The government left Ethiopians in the hands of TPLF unprotected in the Tigray Kilil, ethnic-based territory, without making any security or withdrawal arrangement of the federal employees, university and college students, Ethiopian-loving Tigrayans, etc. In Tigray we heard that women and girls are gang-raped. Well-documented genocide is committed on Amhara people, at least 600 innocent citizens killed in one day in Maikadra, 250 killed in one day in Welega, more than 100 killed in one day in Benshangul, and these are few examples of the Amhara genocide. Many people displaced from Tigray, Welega, Ghetto, Gorafurda, Atay, Karakore, South Wello, etc., and killings by armed forces and government-sponsored killings of civilians are everyday events in Ethiopia. The whole Ethiopia and these specific incidents require an immediate intervention by US and the whole peace-loving world to ensure the well-being of these citizens of Ethiopians left irresponsibly with TPLF. After a long period of silence, the US has spoken and is acting against criminals executing gross acts of crime against humanity. The 21st century is called the era of the Constitution. However, Ethiopia is still led by a fraudulent and criminal government law copied primarily from the TPLF manifesto that empowers the government to enslave the Ethiopian people. This law has roped God-given rights of sovereignty and land ownership from Ethiopians and gave it to the government. This fraudulent and unusual constitution does not know Ethiopians as a citizen and sovereign human being. Ethiopians did not have a constitution, and Ethiopia's people demand a national dialogue to bring a national consensus that brings forth a new constitution. Since the government uses the current government law to enslave the people structurally, we Ethiopians are working towards a national referendum for a new constitution and demolish the current governing law. The new reconciling constitution empowers the Ethiopian people over the government. Discussion is going forward by Ethiopians as concerned citizens have already drafted a new constitution that satisfies all the international covenant requirements for civic and political rights, ICCPR, and presented it for the Ethiopian public to nurture, improve, and making the necessary changes. Dear President Biden, our urgent appeal and direct advocacy focus on restoring our unaverred, oldest, and most extended friendship of the United States of America and Ethiopia, a reliable strategic ally of the United States in the Horn of Africa. Identifying and finding out a fundamental mistake that has been done in 1991 that puts TPLF on power, and in 2021 to resolve the mistake done in 1991 in reconstructing the relationship of our two countries on a solid foundation by removing this dangerous obstacle which is the leading root cause of deteriorating devastation. This new solid foundation has alignment of the American interest with Ethiopian resurrection by helping Ethiopian people to secure a national referendum for the new constitution, which is an American core value. While Ethiopia has been, and remains to be, a reliable strategic ally of the United States in the Horn of Africa, we firmly believe that what the Senate, the House of People's Representatives, and your administration came up with as a recommendation will help repair the century-old and true alliance. Once Ethiopia voted for a referendum on a new constitution and implementation of the new constitution is done, we will have free and independent institutions that uphold the rule of law in Ethiopia. It is also with great pleasure to witness what the United States of America has helped Ethiopians to transfer technology and knowledge in building century-old institutions that became the pride of Ethiopia, to name few are, the Ethiopian Airlines, the Ethiopian Telecommunication, the Ethiopian Air Force, the Ethiopian Marine, Ethiopian Roads Authority, agricultural development projects such as ARDU, Wadu and Kadu, educational institutions like Addis Ababa University, Ailmaya College of Agriculture and Mechanical Arts, agricultural technical schools, Ambo and Jimma, now all are universities. The United States of America and the whole world will benefit from a strong Ethiopia. It is a recorded history that Ethiopia has paid its due with courage and bravery on its alliance with the United States of America, to name a few, alliance in war with South Korea, Democratic Congo, Somalia, and on all places where Ethiopia participated on the fight against terrorism, etc. It now is a historical test of time for the United States of America to help and save Ethiopia from separatist forces, and help Ethiopians install their new constitution as the supreme law of the land that facilitates togetherness, nurture humanity in all aspects and regain its status as a solid and dependable ally of the United States of America, and the absolute peace and justice-loving world. Such a people-to-people alliance will promote our shared interest in the Horn of Africa and beyond. We Ethiopians shall not allow the elected Prime Minister to perform an oath to destroy Ethiopia and realize the mission of the unique and unusual Constitution. This blue book works to our demise. Therefore, we, members of the Ethiopian American community in the United States of America, kindly requesting your action per your recommendation that Ethiopia start the democratization process before the performance of the oath of office, as it aligns with the interest of Ethiopia and Ethiopians. Background. The root cause of genocide, crime against humanity in Ethiopia, is the 1995 fraudulent constitution intentionally written by TPLF rebels with deep-covered sabotages and imposed on the Ethiopian people as constitution by force. The 1995 fraudulent constitution of Ethiopia never promulgated to the Ethiopian people to give their consent. The 1995 fraudulent constitution of Ethiopia preamble belongs to the undefined nations, and it is unusual in the world because it doesn't say "we the Ethiopian people." Instead, its preamble says, "we the nations." The Ethiopian people never ratified the 1995 fraudulent constitution of Ethiopia. We can prove it. A case in point is the so-called Ethiopian Transitional Government Constitution 1995, established the most fraudulent, illicit constitution, by illegitimate two ethnic secessionist groups, namely, Tigray People Liberation Front and the Oromo People Liberation Front. This constitution was established in 1995 by these ethnic groups, who controlled power and imposed and enforced upon the Ethiopian people. At the ratification time, there are no Ethiopian people invited for consultation and public discussions. A considerable majority have protested and denounced as this constitution is divisive, dangerously framed, and illegitimate. The primary evil phrase found in the constitution preamble. They have clearly stated that "we the nations, nationalities, and peoples of Ethiopia," as if Ethiopia is a developing confederal nation, nationalities, and peoples. Thus, they dismantled the unity of the Ethiopian people, and have created their version of the policy document, illegitimate, deceitful, full confederal 9 kilos based on discrimination, exclusion, and violations of rights of Ethiopians. The 1995 TPLF's constitution removes the Ethiopian people's nationality status, citizenship rights, natural, legal, and universal human rights, such as land holding or ownership, civil and political rights, free movement of citizens, fair representation in all the public affairs, and the decision-making rights as citizens. They have also intentionally and deliberately inserted Article 8:47 that stated that Ethiopia belongs to selective ethnic groups and derogated, every individual citizen natural birth and universal rights, Article 39 that provided and facilitated the right to self-determination up to secession for only those selective groups. Namely, the two secession groups plan to create Greater Tigray and Greater Oromia by destroying the rest of the majority of Ethiopians, particularly Amhara and mixed-race Ethiopians. The above articles alone violated numerous international human rights provisions, such as Article 12 Free Movement of Citizens, Article 1, Article 14 Prohibition of discrimination of all forms, as provided by the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights 1966, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1948. These illegitimate and illegal groups, namely, the Tigray Liberation Front and the Oromo Liberation Front, have established as ethnic secessionist groups, have no legitimacy and legal authority to make constitution, laws, and changes to the country's sovereign territorial integrity, including the nation's demography. According to international customary practice and standards, a country or a state can only establish one constitutional law for a unitary state to serve all the citizens equally and fairly. One of the primary purposes of a constitution is to serve as a guiding principle for government in every society worldwide. Simultaneously, it acknowledges the citizens' power, limits the government power, holds government officials accountable to the people they are employed to serve. A constitution provision includes a specific article to control abuse of power through independent institutions. The constitution establishes this, ratified by the Ethiopian people to be governed by a constitution, is a body of fundamental principles or established precedents according to which a particular nation is acknowledged and given consent to be governed under this law. The present TPLF and OLF, Oromo Liberation Front, policy paper does not satisfy the criteria for a constitution within the meaning of international principles. Thus, the Ethiopian Survival Salvation Association, ESSA, members reject the Ethiopian Transitional Constitution, which was established in 1995, and not promulgated by the Ethiopian people. On the contrary, we have clear evidence that they ratified by TPLF secessionist group only and imposed upon the Ethiopian people. These anti-Ethiopian groups have acknowledged the international community because they have the means to conceal the truth and deceive the international community through their state-controlled propaganda machine, i.e., the media, press, and international diplomacy work. This illicit TPLF/OLF, Oromo Liberation Front, policy paper, the so-called constitution, has reduced Ethiopia practically into different small countries with independent political, military, and economic entities. These entities have their media as well. On the other hand, they have actively propagated and using Ethiopia's name until their hidden purpose and benefit fulfill. TPLF rebels to get funds and economic, military advantages from the international community. They wrote this deceitful action would continue until they complete their hidden purpose. That is the realization of the Greater Tigray Republic and the Greater Oromia Republic, on the destruction of the majority mixed race and Amhara ethnic Ethiopians by a gradual genocide, displacement, and imprisonment of the intellectuals by economic genocide and various forms of discrimination that they had already committed since 1991 when they assumed power. These secessionist groups have an extended plan and purpose of creating two new states, Greater Tigray and Greater Oromia, on Ethiopia's ashes, very carefully and gradually by their deceitful way and cheating. It is ironic that a regime that has been ruling a country, and the people of Ethiopia vehemently hates and stays in power for nearly 3 decades. They are anti-Ethiopian traitors who employed various manipulative ways, such as holding periodic fake elections under this fraudulent racist and ill-designed policy document. When they wrote a fake and dangerous constitution, they deliberately have designed to destroy this ancient nation's social, political, and economic fabrics to accomplish the long-time desire of the foreign enemies with colonial fascistic mentality, such as the Arabs, Mussolini and Hitler. They have been murdering innocent people, including women and children, transferring the donated and borrowed money to foreign banks, and depositing in the name of their families. They have displaced millions of innocent civilians, particularly the ethnic Amhara population, tortured prisoners, denailing fingers and toes, wanton mass killings, and imprisonments. They have also committed high crimes and serious treason by partitioning Eritrea and denying the second most populous country in Africa without an outlet to the sea. The Ethiopian Survival Salvation Association, ESSA, members demand a national referendum for a new constitution to hold a meaningful, legitimate fair periodic national election from 2021. We have prepared a draft constitution proposed for the Ethiopian people to discuss and make their comments freely. We need the intervention of the international community to assist the Ethiopian people in implementing this vital document to be realized to solve the complex problems of our people permanently. This draft constitution proposal on the international standard for a country constitution, where the preamble of the introductory sentence correctly states, "We the people of Ethiopia." The main reason we members of ESSA rejected the above aforesaid fake constitution for 2 main reasons. First, the preamble notion of the 1995 Ethiopian Transitional Constitution does not open internationally with the familiar authority that should usually say, "We the people of Ethiopia." Secondly, the owner of Ethiopia and the constitution failed to address the actual owner is the Ethiopian people. Instead, the TPLF rebels put the nations, nationalities, and peoples of Ethiopia on the 1995 Transition Constitution of Ethiopia. Therefore, this is a grave crime committed because no constitution was drafted in this world comprising 3 entities, nations or countries, nationalities, and peoples. Therefore, this greatest evil violates the Ethiopian people's fundamental legal rights. Therefore, we concerned Ethiopians organized ourselves as a civil society entity under the name of Ethiopian Survival and Salvation Association, ESSA, condemned and denounced this evil practice against our people. They deliberately made it look as though Ethiopia is a collection of various countries that agreed to establish an cooperative confederal arrangement. Thus, to save our country and nation from this above aforesaid dangerous evil, apart from condemned and denounced the traitors' transitional constitution outrightly, we also have been educating our people about their legitimate right and how to defend it. Furthermore, the TPLF rebels violated the fundamental principles of a constitutional right for a sovereign nation. We further condemned and denounced their intentional insertion of Articles 8 and 39 to deliberately segregating the nation by creating civil war and destroy its unity, integrity, and sovereignty. They partitioned the country using false and dangerous ethnic federalism. Formulated it based on race and language. They discriminated against and derogated the natural, legal and civil rights of most Ethiopian people. Eventually, this fraudulent TPLF's 1995 Transitional Constitution of Ethiopia still leading the Ethiopian people into tribal civil war between various ethnic and religious groups. After all, the ESSA members opposed beginning an election based on this racist and discriminatory policy document very firmly, as the country doesn't have a valid and legitimate constitution. We urge the United Nations to intervene and save the Ethiopian people from accomplishing a national referendum for a new Ethiopian constitution and ratification before any periodic national election commencing from 2021. The only legitimate practice for Ethiopians is ratifying a new constitution and formally effective. We want to express our intention to work with United Nations and concerned organs to bring the best and lasting solution for the Ethiopian people based on equality, fraternity, peace and justice. We also like to bring this to the attention of the Ethiopian people as a reminder that they are the supreme and ultimate authority of power. Additionally, people have an inalienable, indivisible, universal right to determine their fate, establish their constitution, select, appoint their leaders, and remove them from power. Therefore, people have the power to stand up united to make your destiny by your own decision, and defend your God-given natural and legal rights. However, no one has supreme authority to determine your life, except God. May God bless Ethiopia and the United States of America, and their alliance for furthering peace, unity, kindness, sharing, and truth that are honorable. Yours respectfully. Ethiopian Survival and Salvation Association, ESSA, Committee. Makonnen Doyamo, Chairperson of ESSA. W/RO, Argash-G/Tsadik, Lawyer. Tefera Demise, Vice Chairperson of ESSA. Dr. Negash Amsalu, Secretary of ESSA. Engineer Mesfin Yilma, Community Organizer. Aster Jesses, Community Organizer. Contact 61270228899. Email doyamo1@gmail.com. CC. Honorable Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House. The Congressional Hearing on Conflict in Ethiopia Committee. Honorable Representative Gregory Meeks, Chairperson of Foreign Affairs Committee. Honorable Representative Michael McCall, Ranking Member, Foreign Affairs Committee. Honorable Chris Smith, U.S. Congressman and distinguished members of House Foreign Relations Committee. Honorable Representative Karen Bass, California, Ranking Member of African Affairs, Global Health, Global Human Right. Honorable Representative Chris Smith, Ranking Member. Honorable Representative Scott Perry, Pennsylvania. Honorable Representative Darrell Issa, California. Honorable Representative David Cicilline, Rhode Island. Honorable Representative Adam Daniel Kinzinger, Illinois. Honorable Representative Dina Titus, Nevada. Honorable Representative Tim Burchett, Tennessee. Honorable Representative Susan Wild, Pennsylvania. Honorable Representative Gregory Stube, Pennsylvania. Honorable Representative Dean Phillip, Minnesota. Honorable Representative August Pfluger, Texas, Ranking Member Subcommittee Europe, Energy and Environment. Honorable Representative Andy Levin, Michigan, Asia-Pacific Relations. Honorable Representative Joaquin Castro, Texas, International Development, International Organization and Global Social Impact Subcommittee. Honorable Ronnie Jackson, Global Health and Human Rights Committee. Honorable Representative Ihan Omar, Minnesota, Vice Chair, African Affairs, Global Health and Global Human Right. Honorable Representative Young Kim, Asia Pacific Non-Proliferation. Honorable Representative Tom Malinowski, New Jersey. Honorable Representative Andy Kim, New Jersey. Honorable Representative Sarah Jacobs, California, Vice Chair, International Development. Honorable Representative Juan Vargas, California, Vice Chair of International Western Hemisphere, Civilian Security, Migration and Economic Policy. U.S. Senate. Honorable Senator Menendez, Chairman. Honorable Senator Risch, Ranking Member. Honorable Senator Kitotrend. Honorable Ambassador Robert Godek, Acting Assistant Secretary for Bureau of African Affairs for U.S. Department of State. Honorable Ms. Sarah Charles, USAID's Assistant to Administrator for the Bureau of Humanitarian Affairs.